another project here, which I thought was pretty interesting, which is called BUN. And so what is BUN? BUN is actually a couple different things. It kind of reminds me of when Steve Jobs first introduced the iPhone, and it's like we've got three different things to show you. We've got like we've got a mobile, internet browser. We've got a music player. Well, anyways, BUN is a bundler. It's also a JavaScript engine, and it's also a transpiler. And so it does a bunch of different things, which I thought was pretty interesting. And it's also really, really fast. And they claim to be, over twice as fast than Node, as an example. So right now in the whole JavaScript, not in the browser space, the players really are, Node.js, Deno, and now there's this BUN, which was just released. And so it's created by this guy, Jared Sumner. And it's based actually off the JavaScript core engine. So if people aren't familiar, JavaScript core engine is the one that is part of Apple WebKit. And it was written in the Zig programming language, which I thought was interesting. I'm not that familiar with Zig, but it looks like an interesting language. And let's see here. So one of the things that's cool is with the transpiling features is it's got built-in support for JSX and TypeScript, which is also one of the things that's interesting about Deno. Deno has built-in support for TypeScript as well. And they have a whole transpiler API they can use, and you can use a tsconfig file in your projects as well. They have their own API for working with the file system as well. It comes with SQLite built in as well. They have support for a lot of the Node modules and stuff will work out of the box, but they also have support for the NAPI. So if you're using essentially native code that you want to be able to run, you can do that using an API. And this is actually another cool feature I thought was that is anybody here using .env files? Yeah. So you don't have to use .env. It just works automatically in BUN. Yeah.
Picks up your environment?
Yeah, it just picks it up. So if you have a .env file in your in your folder or your project, it just picks it up automatically. The command.
We done that better.
Yeah. So if you want to run a script, you just say BUN run whatever the script name is. If you want to install something, this is like npm or yarn. You can do a BUN install whatever the module is you want to use, and they have their own testing tool built into it as well. Deno has this as well, but they have a testing tool called WebTest, and so it looks like their goal is to kind of go after kind of like people that are doing like Next.js development as an example. But if you want to build a web server, this is all you have to do to build and run a web server. So let me give another quick demo here. So I'm going to cd into my BUN examples. All right, so I just come over here. I'm going to say cat HTTP. You can see it has a TS here. And this is a server. So if I run this, I can just say here BUN run http.ts, and it's running. So now I can come over here to my browser and just come in here and I can say localhost, and voila. And then if I want to put in here like a path in here, say user, for example, it goes right out. And so it claims to be like one of the fastest. This is the code right here. This is just BUN serve, and you can see they're using fetch. So something I wanted to note, because this came up in your presentation to test, is that one of the problems that JavaScript developers run into when you're going back and forth between the front end and the back end, if you're using JavaScript in both places, is that the fetch API is different between what's in the browser and what's available on, typically if you want to use fetch, you'd use node fetch on Node.js, as an example. But there's been a project, because one of the problems is that they're not the same, right? There's been an effort on foot to actually introduce and bring in a fetch into Node. So Node will now have, this is not out officially yet, but when Node 18 is released, it's going to have essentially the same version of fetch that's in the browser is going to be available in Node. So that should take care of some of those fetch issues.
Will it be a built-in thing or you have to import something?
I believe that it'll be built in. Yeah, it's built in.
Has it built in.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And apparently BUN also has it built in.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to even import it. Yeah, so this is interesting that the server is takes an object that has one method called fetch. That's not what you expected, right? You expected a method which was serve or respond or request or get or one of those, not fetch. Because fetch is generic for get, post, put, all of them. Like do service in Java.
How do you handle those? Like,
You can say the request dot method actually.
Yeah, that's essentially what I did when I tried BUN the first time. I just ran an Next.js app and it was like instant.
What? Oh, BUN Next.js app?
Yeah, you can do BUN create Next.js and you immediately get an app in like half the second.
Can you do it again? I missed it.
Oh, I'm sorry. Let me do that right now.
It was too fast.
That was Control C, delete, and then start over.
There you go.
Yeah. So let's go back here. So I'm just going to do it again just to show you what I did. So I'm going to rimraf that next folder. All right. And so let's just run this again. So I'm just going to say BUN create next. Boop, done.
And
I just created next. Now if I want to run this.
BUN dev or BUN run dev.
so it's already running. It's CD. Did it CD? No,
No, I'm doing
Oh,
CD.
you have to actually run that.
But once you do that,
Run.
boom, your server's up.
Oh, that's true. So yeah, basically it's using whatever npm create was, that infrastructure. It's running it pretty fast, which is good. It's installing all the dependencies really fast. I can see that. And then, yeah, so when you say BUN run dev, so you say BUN instead of npm basically. Wherever you used to say npm uses. Now, does it have a package? Oh yeah, of course. Next.js has a package.
Yeah, it's got, so it also will bundle up your modules and stuff into its own kind of bundle.
Can you show us the package.json? Because I'm assuming it's standard, same as it. So which means it's called npm, not BUN. Or does it?
Like where it gets back.
I mean, scripts. Are the scripts saying npm something?
It's the
or
same.
BUN
It's the
something?
same. No, it's the same as npm.
Can you show?
Oh yeah, right. It's also using TOML files in there.
I like to know, this dominant is good, but when it's
So that's it.
No scripts?
No scripts.
BUN,
BUN does it.
BUN dev.
So how do you build it with a bun?
But then, does that mean, does that
BUN. I think it's BUN.
BUN build?
Yeah, bun.
BUN.
Yeah.
Bun.
It's literally BUN.
But if you want to do the environment specific build, Like, you said.
Yep, you can do it, you can do environment specific. So you can say bun use.
So you can write a script basically, the package jobs.
Yeah.
So does that mean that Next.js folks actually created a special adapter for
Yes.
mustard, right? Otherwise, in the script, right?
Yeah, if you go look at the examples, there's only like 4 or 5 frameworks right now. that-
This is brand new. I mean,
Yeah.
it was just released publicly, I guess, a couple of weeks ago or whatever, but, I think that's good, that there's competition and stuff, now in the JavaScript ecosystem, because there's, multiple ways. The choice of JavaScript core, I thought was interesting because, the process that, Google uses with V8 and stuff like that, it's a fairly public, process and stuff like that. And they're releasing a new version of V8 every, I don't know, is it 6 weeks or something like that. But and then, one of the things that's also interesting about V8 is that, one of the core things, it doesn't just have to work with Chrome, it has to work with Node.js. And so that team, the V8 team, is actually very careful not to try to introduce anything that's going to cause problems for the Node.js team and stuff like that. So there really are kind of in sync, even though there is there essentially is an abstraction or abstracted layer. So you could, if you want to, you could replace the engine in Node to use a different JavaScript engine.
So are you saying that so V8 and JavaScript code there, whatever, right? And those are
The V8 is good, right?
the V8 engine versus JavaScript code. They are completely different. They're not a single line of common code. They don't have the same pedigree.
I haven't looked at the code, but I know one is, a Google sponsored project, another one's an Apple sponsored project.
Yeah, but they might still, like WebKit, for example, is started out in Apple,
Yeah, they're
And
forked
then-
off from each other.
and then Chrome used WebKit, and then of course Blink, Maybe.
Have you used the parser? It's a kind of a transpiler, like a back end.
Parcel,
Parcel.
yeah, like roll up.
I have not, no, but that would make an interesting topic for a future Jacksonode meeting.
I've used it once, the parcel. Yeah, I used it once, the parcel.
Like partial to parcel.
I'm using that. I can, I have used the other side.
Webpack.
That.
Oh, God.
It's like everybody's going to beat.
Huh?
That's what everybody's going to beat.
Yeah.
Everybody's going to beat.
We do all the way. I mean, and it's not even something, by the way, if you look at my video that I released several, like 2-3 years back almost, that in which I reviewed Snowpack versus Sweet. Right, would be, okay. At that time, the word built in, okay. So Sweet, it was called Sweet versus Snowpack. I said,